only wish I had known this years ago. And now I teach it to every client. And I want to teach it to you because when you implement these shifts and changes, your life is going to change for the better and for the more powerful and for the more positive because it cannot not. You see, when people complain to me that they're stuck, or that they wish they could be more motivated, or that they had more self confidence, then I already read between the lines because chances are they might be stuck with one of these or all of these patterns that we often don't even know what they're causing. So, and please take notes because the more you, first of all, you need awareness. You need to understand that, hey, this is something I might be doing, which is super important, right? Because you can't, anything outside of your awareness is out of your control. Very, very important. So awareness is key. Understanding, right? That, wait, this is something that might be going on. Then you must have enough curiosity to ask yourself, am I doing this? Is this something that has become a habit? And then implement the change. And when you do that, this is going to change your life. And you can apply this in every area of your life, by the way, whether it's your health, your wealth, your relationships, your finances, your fun, wherever it is that you are doing this. So, and these are sort of like the principles of how a human being works, how our brain works. All right. And um, if you want to tap into your real potential, right? If you want to be able to pull like into the depths of you, the all of you, then you must understand these 5 points I'm about to share with you. Number one, this is going to sound weird, but actually, your brain would rather be and stay depressed and safe than happy and risky. Yeah, let me repeat, this is so important. Your brain would rather stay depressed and safe, quote unquote, than happy and take a risk. Because your brain ultimately has been designed to protect you and to help you survive. And because of that, anytime you might want to try this new thing, or you might want to put yourself out there, or you might go to that new networking event, or anytime you might be like, oh, your brain's gonna be like, don't do that. That's risky. That's gonna be hard. People are gonna not like you. Like literally within split seconds, there's this other part of you, which is the subconscious, that is going to try to talk you out of it. And this is what causes a lot of people to stay stuck. And when you recognize, when you understand it, wait a minute, this is just the subconscious doing what it actually does, supposed to do, trying to protect me, and you start to have a conversation with it, and you realize that actually the bigger risk is me not going to that networking event and not meeting new people and not putting myself out there, because then I'll go broke, right? So you gotta show the mind how, no, taking that risk is actually the best thing that I could do, so that your subconscious gets on board. Yeah. Next, and by the way, if you have any Lydia, it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, everybody. Come on. Happy birthday to Lydia. Happy birthday. Happy for you. And I hope in fact, it's so funny. I had a client who came in today because it's her birthday. This is the gift she gave her working with me, her hypnotherapist. And she thanked me for past year that we've been working on all kinds of issues. Anyhow, not to sidetrack. Number two, this don't think of a pink elephant fact. Very important. One of the biggest mistakes I see my clients doing. I used to do this and I had no idea. I'm like, what? I had no idea that this is what caused my sabotageness and my stuckness. Don't think of a pink elephant. So many people make the mistake. They keep thinking what they don't want. Like, I don't want to be so anxious. I don't want to be self-conscious. I don't want to be nervous. I don't want to fail. I don't want these things to go wrong. What if this happens? And what if that other bad thing happens? So now, guess what that actually does? It sounds reasonable, right? Sounds good to the logic, to the conscious mind. Yes, that's the logical. But guess what? The subconscious only understands our words as pictures, visions, movies. And so, and it cannot work towards negation. Because if I say to you, hey, don't think of a pink elephant, you probably are still thinking about that pink elephant, right? And I didn't even ask you yet what to think about. So now you're stuck. You're like, hey, Susan, yeah, what do you want me to think about? That's how the brain works too. The more you say, I don't want to be anxious, well, the brain hears anxious, and that's the picture it will come up with. And guess what? To the brain, that's like a command. It's a command of be anxious, right? Because you're picturing yourself, I don't want to be anxious. But what you're seeing is you being anxious. And to the brain, to the subconscious, that sounds like and is a command, a direct suggestion and command. And so what do we get? We get more anxiety. So instead, you want to, even if you don't believe it, you don't have to believe it. Okay. This is another objection I hear. But Susan, I'm just not a confident person. I don't know. You don't have to believe it yet. You just have to be able to imagine what it would be like to walk into a room where you feel comfortable in your own skin. What would that be like? Could you even imagine a little bit of that? Now you're giving your brain the suggestions on what do you want, the way you want it. And guess what? Your subconscious can work super fast. Why otherwise would hypnotherapy for so many people in one session, they experience life-changing results? Why? Because we're working with the part of you where change happens. So, even if you can imagine it and picture it a little bit, that's enough for a change. And the more you imagine yourself successful and how this venture is going to go, everything's going to go great, and I'm going to have this success, and I'm going to make this money, and people are going to like me, and right now you're actually giving your brain suggestions. And guess what? Your subconscious is your servant mind. That means it automatically shows you and gives you the results, the pictures that you want to see. And guess what? The more you do that, now all of a sudden your personality changes, your mood changes, your attitude changes, and your life changes. Just like that. Try it out and see what happens. Number 3, willpower. Way too many people think that it takes willpower to break this habit, to start this habit, to motivate myself. I should be stronger. I should have more willpower. No, no, you don't need, you just need this little willpower, because willpower is a finite button. Okay, now again, willpower comes from the conscious mind. The conscious mind is only 5% of you. Yes, 5%. And it runs out really fast. The conscious mind is responsible for logic, for reasoning, decision making, and yes, a little bit of willpower. But your subconscious is responsible and in control of your behaviors and your habits and those things that we do on autopilot. For example, if you know how to speak, and luckily I'm saying that very consciously because for the first 20 years of my life, I had a very severe speech impediment, stuttering. And believe it or not, a hypnotherapist could have helped me quickly break through that really bad habit. And so there was no amount of wishing and hoping and wanting and praying that helped me, because all that came from, I want this to work. When a hypnotherapist could have actually showed me how to engage the subconscious. So whether you want to be more motivated to go to the gym, whether you want to stop this unwanted habit, and a lot of people unfortunately call it addiction. In my book, there is no such thing, because if addictions really were true, hypnotherapy wouldn't work, but it does work. So we need to work with the subconscious if you want this habit to stick, if you want to be more motivated, if you want to, right? We got to work with the subconscious instead of relying on willpower and telling yourself that you need to fake it till you make it, or you need to force yourself, or you need to white knuckle yourself. You know, this is literally the biggest self-sabotage factor that I see with a lot, unbeknownst to them. You know, they then often will blame themselves, and at the end of the day, there's going to be so much regret and guilt, and they'll say, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yeah, if somebody teaches you how to actually engage the subconscious, you could have easily gone to the gym 5 times this week. No problem. You would have just done it automatically instead of white knuckling. Make sense? So, and this is why, again, as a hypnotherapist, I work directly with the person's subconscious. I'm interested in logic, obviously, but then right away we get into that part of you where the change can actually happen fast. Number 4, we need to talk about the inner critic. The inner critic is a 7 year old bodyguard. Yeah. Because the inner critic actually is the part of you that remembers, most likely from your childhood, all the ways that you were told and taught that you're not good enough, and you're too emotional, and you're too much, or you're not enough, you are too loud, you're too spirited, you should be more like this, you should be more like that. Why can't you be smart like your brother? Why can't you be quiet like your sister? Why can't you be more girly? No, be more boy. Big boys don't cry. Ay, so therefore, guess what? Eventually you learned that, yep, I'm not good enough. And so the inner critic is the one that keeps reminding you, and it shows up at the most inopportune time. It always shows up when the stakes are really high. And then, boom, we buy into those limitations, we buy into those messages, and boom, now we're like chopped liver, right? So keep in mind, the inner critic is just an old program that is still running the show because we let it. But again, with hypnotherapy, we can change that, and we can turn that inner critic into a phenomenal cheerleader and coach when you need it, so that you can actually count on a voice inside of you that will cheer you on and inspire you and motivate you and believe in you instead of tear you down, just like what you might have heard in your childhood. So remember that inner critic, 7 year old bodyguard. Okay, so just be careful what you listen to. um Lydia, oh, wow. My pleasure. You're so nice for doing this. I had a panic attack yesterday. Okay. If this happens to you frequently, Lydia, remember there's a very good reason you have that. And this is simply explained, but this is not something you have to suffer with, okay? Your body is sending you messages and signals that there is something wrong. It wants to get your attention, which is amazing. That's phenomenal. But having to deal with panic attacks, not phenomenal. And you don't have to do that. And yes, I hear this a lot and then you say, my anxiety is so bad, I passed out. Yeah, I don't blame you. Um, but panic attacks is something nobody should have to deal with, just FYI. And as an example, hypnotherapy would be really helpful in helping you break through this pattern. So just as an example. And number 5 is this upper limit thermostat. And again, this is a big form of self sabotage. Upper limit thermostat means, for example, somebody might be able to make $20,000 a month and they're consistently, but anytime they try to break through, they're like, I don't know, I can't. Or maybe you keep attracting the wrong relationships into your life and you're like, I don't understand. I know these people aren't good. Like, why do I keep, in that same loop? Right? Or maybe you know that you should stop smoking or whatever, but anytime you just like, I can't. Okay, so what this means is that if, especially as a child, you were used to a chaotic household, you were used to scarcity, you were used to being abused, right? If that became a theme and a pattern, then guess what? As an adult, believe it or not, so often you might stay stuck in that. And it's almost like it becomes something you expect because that is what became familiar. And it's almost like, to the first point, what becomes familiar is what will eventually become your normal, your thermostat, so to speak. It's not that it's good or bad for you, that's up for debate. But recognizing that, wait a minute, this is just a childhood pattern continuing to play itself out, realizing that it's not you that's the limiting factor, it's this pattern, it's this program, that it's like crabs in a bucket. Anytime you try, boom, the crabs in a bucket will pull you right back down to where you started from. So again, when you see this is happening, understand this is a subconscious program. Chances are you're stuck in survival mode. Chances are your nervous system is highly dysregulated. And first step we need to do is help you stabilize your nervous system again, help you. And this is why hypnotherapy is mind body work. There's no way you can think your way out of trauma. There's no way you, even if you understand your childhood, even if you keep talking about it, even if you keep reading the best self help books, until you actually apply getting the conscious and the subconscious to work together, then it will just remain a type of understanding. And that's not transformation, right? Information. People say knowledge is power. Yeah, really? Where? How? No. And neither is information. Implementation is power. When you finally implement and practice something that actually works, you not only are going to work it, but you're going to notice the change. And these are the things I wish every human being would know. Because when you know this and then you apply this and then you notice the results in your life, how change can happen fast, that you don't need to rely on willpower to break this habit, this pattern, this addiction, whatever you want to call it. You just need to know you have to get a system that actually works. So all those people that complain to me, you typically come to me as a last resort. Nothing has worked. No, that's not true. You have just given a system, a process that is incomplete, that is insufficient. I promise you, when you get what works, you're going to work it, and you're going to work it really good, and it's going to work for you. That's a promise and a guarantee. But you got to know how the system works if you want change. And I'm not saying that willpower and white knuckling and forcing yourself and fake it till you make it doesn't work. It's hard. It's just not a pleasant journey. And why? There's no need to suffer. We can make this so much easier. So you want to have a conversation with me, there's usually a link in my whatever section, and where you can book a free call. We can free consultation. We can have a chat. And by the way, yes, hypnotherapy can we do this virtually. It works effectively and naturally. So there's no need for dangerous side effects, anything like that. So I hope this helped you today. And again, Lydia, happy birthday. I hope you have the best day ever. And I'll see you guys soon.